For this Battlefield video, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to delve a little bit more into the history of the weapon in question, which is the Browning automatic rifle, or the BAR M1918, or support weapon. Now, I'm not much of a history buff and I probably won't do this justice, but here we go anyway, feckin' potato history lesson. Now, I think when reading up on the Browning M1918, the one bit of history that stood out for me, apart from it being in World War I toward the end, and then eventually in World War II as well, was how widely used this weapon was outside of war by criminals. Criminals like Vern Miller, criminals like Pretty Boy Floyd, which in itself is a crazy name for a criminal, because being called Pretty Boy in jail won't really end too well, and let's be honest, the guy has a face on him like someone just pissed in his cornflakes. He isn't exactly pretty. Now, criminals like Bonnie and Clyde used the BAR when pulling off robberies. Clyde Barrow liked the BAR M1918 so much that he stole them from the Army National Guard and then taught his girlfriend Bonnie Parker how to use it. There's one eyewitness statement from a police officer who had to dive behind a big oak tree as Bonnie opened fire on him from her BAR and then pinned him behind the tree as wood chips rained down around him. She had basically mastered the art of suppressing fire as Clyde pulled off the robbery. But eventually the BAR would also play a large part in both of their deaths, as they were ambushed while driving on a small road in Louisiana by 6 officers, and it said that each officer had an automatic rifle, which one of them is supposed to have been the BAR, a shotgun and a pistol. And as Bonnie and Clyde approached them on the road, each officer completely emptied their machine gun clips into the oncoming car, then emptied their shotguns into the oncoming car, and then emptied their pistols into the car as it came to a stop in a ditch just a bit away from them. Now, it said that a total of 130 rounds were reportedly fired at the oncoming car, and it said that both criminals had between 25 to 50 entry wounds on their body, and as a result, with any one of those shots being the fatal shot. So I guess those officers weren't taking any feckin' chance whatsoever that Bonnie and Clyde might still be alive. Now, the officers also suffered temporary deafness as a result of the amount of gunfire, so the criminal side of the BAR is pretty interesting. But with regards World War I, the Browning M1918 made a pretty late appearance into World War I. There was just 3 months left before the war ended, and it was originally designed to be carried by infantrymen in a concept called walking fire or marching fire, which allowed soldiers to advance on enemies while suppressing them and keeping those enemies' heads down inside their trench. Because up until then, machine guns had been heavy and awkward to carry from trench to trench, and rifles reloaded or fired far too slowly for soldiers to lay down enough suppressing fire. The BAR, however, was light and allowed them to advance on the enemy. And this marching fire technique was used extensively by the French during the Argonne offensive. Now, Argonne, you know that map that we play in Battlefield 1 that's basically mortared central? Yep, that one. Although the BAR only appeared toward the end of World War I, it made an impression, a pretty big one, because between World War I and II, the M1918 was given to all US naval landing forces, with some ships having up on 200 machine guns on board them. Now, in World War II, the BAR was the only automatic gun for a squad of 8 soldiers, with all men being trained how to use the BAR in case the gunner was killed. And the rest of the squad would carry ammo and probably refuse to drop ammo packs. Am I right? That's what support's all about. Right now in Battlefield 1, the telescopic variant of the BAR is my favourite gun, sitting on 10 service stars at the minute, which is 1,000 kills. I absolutely love using it, but some players feel that support weapons don't have their own spot in Battlefield 1. Medic weapons are great from medium to long range, and if you're good enough, it's solid up close as well. Assault, as you know, melts everything up close. The Model 10A Hunter Master Race is everywhere, and the scout weapons are incredible for range with its sweet spot mechanic, but using support weapons almost feels like you're at a disadvantage against every other class, because with support weapons, when you first begin to shoot them, they are incredibly inaccurate and then gain accuracy the longer that you hold that trigger down. Or if you've managed to get prone and get your bipod out before you get shot on the face, then of course they're going to be effective that way as well. They just feel awkward, probably like machine guns did in World War I as well, but having to fire to gain accuracy means that the enemy will already have a few shots fired off at you before you, I guess, manage that recoil and your accuracy actually kicks in. but I still love using the bar and I do pretty well with it in most matches. I know which fights to engage and when not to go full forehead into a group of assault players and when to back off. Now in Battlefield 1 the bar, much like it did in real life, has a 20 round magazine and it has a maximum damage of 21 and a minimum damage of 19. Now damage drop off starts at about 20 meters and ends at 25, so it hits hard pretty much constantly. Magazine size will mean that you need to reload quite a lot, and tap firing it is pretty much out of the question because of those inaccuracy issues, although I've had a few successful tap fire kills but not that many. But support has always been my favourite class to play in Battlefield games, and Battlefield 1 is no different. Even if it feels a little bit underwhelming this time around, I still prefer to play it. I actually throw ammo packs down. I know, crazy, right? You won't need to smack me with your shovel or shout at me because Potato is here to give. All the ammos are here for everyone, except that sniper that's 6 miles up the mountain. Fuck that guy. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said at the start, it is a little bit of a different take on weapons from Battlefield 1, and of course with the bar M1918 in particular. Share it around if you did enjoy it. If you're a history buff and I've messed something up, then of course I'm sorry. I'm a potato after all. Let me know if you would like to see more of these types of videos, or if you would prefer different types of Battlefield videos about weapons or places in Battlefield, like the battlegrounds or the maps in particular. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more Battlefield 1, and as always, thanks very much for watching.
Take the ammo.